building motorcycles, it's definitely a job where you're not gonna make a lot of money. Be hard pressed to find any other builder who's rolling in dough because of motorcycle building. It's something that I'm gonna have to do until I die. I'm never gonna retire. Is this the decision I'm making? I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life, or am I gonna move on to a different path? And then I come to this crossroad and I'm like, well, what else would I do? I would need to be able to do something. Creating, fixing, building. Wasn't able to create, I would probably die slowly inside. Spent half my life dedicated to putting together old choppers. Do I have any regrets? Yeah, I mean, of course. It's not the first time I've come to a crossroad where I was wanting to back out of this. Maybe I should be applying myself more instead of running around doing donuts and drinking, whiskey. Don't make a lot of money. Like I said before, I march at the beat of my own drum, and I have a lot of time, which I think is priceless. If I wasn't a builder, what would I be? That's a good question.
What do I think about Steve Motta? Steve Motta is the man in charge. I met him around 2012 at Bob's Big Boy. I saw this guy rolling in a shovel chopper. Bare metal shovel head with huge pipes. He may have been wearing some capri pants with combat boots, a tank top. The guy's ripped too, so you're like, who is this character,
It's funny because some people have a tough time calling themselves artists. It almost feels like a pretentious title. And then there's people who are innately like genius at what they do. They just have something else in their cellular makeup. And that's what Steven represents to me, somebody who just does what he does unapologetically and with humility.
Steven has an immense pride to his work. It's a craftsmanship. He's like an Italian craftsman who makes boots. I wouldn't say OCD, but he's a perfectionist, and that's why he's good at it.
Are you brave enough and courageous enough and badass enough to pursue what moves you? Steven's just an extreme version of it. And I like being around it, even though it can be uncomfortable at times.
There's restoration and then there's revitalization. And what he doesn't do is he won't strip the paint down. He won't take off an original patina. You'll see in a lot of his bikes will just be bare metal, rusty, crusty. Kind of want to keep the whole bike American. That's where it's at.
Steven is another guy who just can't sit still, but he just doesn't want to follow the status quo. It's rare to come across in this day and age.
I like my routine because it works for me. I don't like inconsistencies. Gotta eat my breakfast, gotta do the workout, gotta do my errands, gotta come here at a certain time, go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. It's a good thing, but sometimes it becomes where I have to have everything placed correctly. It's kind of militant, I guess you would say, but creature habit. I come from a long lineage of people from the military. My father, my uncles, my grandfather, my dad. He's a retired firefighter. He's very organized, always on time. He actually puts me to shame. My mother is from Korea. They have a certain way where they're very work, clean, and she is also a creature of habit. It was tough growing up. I fought it, but now I very much appreciate it. A lot of times when I see these bikes, one of the things that really draws my eye is the hardware. Little accents like that really stick out on a motorcycle. For these early years, they used a lot of flathead, Phillips style hardware. Allen hardware didn't actually really start in the 70s for Harley Davidson. So when I see it on a bike that's as early as the 40s, one of the first things I do is order a bunch of new hardware for that to make it more correct. I honestly think the flathead just has a nicer look to it as well. Plus I get to pull this lid off, do an inspection, see how the inside of the transmission looks. My dad bought me my first dirt bike in middle school. He literally bought the motorcycle for $100. It was a 79 Honda 125 steel tank dual sport dirt bike. The first time jumping on that little dirt bike, it was amazing just because of how raw they are. I loved the sound of the dirt bike. I loved also that it was an old bike. He didn't put me on a brand new bike. We couldn't afford one, but I think that might have contributed to wanting the old bikes as well. There's something about the styles of the motors or the bikes of the past. No silly business, no amenities. It's very basic. It looks like someone rebuilt this. You know, a lot of times around the mesh gears or, you know, first, second, third, fourth will be kind of dog-eared a little bit from slamming in the gears or whatever. And these are just, they look really nice and sharp. Very, very little wear, which is nice.
He'll look at my 69 shovel head that I have. He'll look at it and he'll go, those highway pegs are wrong. And I'm like, how do you know that they're wrong? He goes, no, they're supposed to be bigger for that year. And these are the ones online that you should buy. Okay, then fine, I'll buy them. Then he'll call me up a month later, you know, you should really put that ham can on there. He'll nag me on getting a vintage motorcycle period correct. I mean, like, that's the thing. It's like, how can you fault the guy for that?
If you have a stock bike from the 50s, this is how it is to be in the 50s. These things, they have a soul in it. And when you build it a certain way, it's like you're basically, this is the personality. You're building a personality, and now you're riding it. When I was a kid, it was very hard for me not to take anything apart. I was always tearing apart gadgets, clocks, or working with my hands. That was just something that came natural, and it came easy to me. Going through grade school, I didn't do the best. I barely passed. I was always doodling and drawing. That was my thing. I always loved to draw. I wanted to be an artist. Around high school, I started really getting into mechanics, started getting into dirt bikes. I don't think my dad had any idea where he started. From then on out, it just kind of took off from there. When I first started building motorcycles, I thought this could be the thing where I could be creative as well as using my natural knack of being mechanically inclined. The plan was never to build motorcycles, that's for sure. That just kind of fell on my lap. If you're good at it and, it came naturally, just why not, But 20 years ago, I moved out here to pursue acting. I had an agent, got my SAG card, did some background work. I got some great auditions, but I just didn't give it any thought, and I didn't give it the effort I should have, because my head was always in motorcycles. That's kind of right around the time I was starting to really dive in this and do my own thing. After apprenticing and working under some master mechanics, I started having a little business. I used to buy little iron heads or whatever for $600 to $800 and building it for another $500 to flip it and make, a few $1,000s. So it was definitely living paycheck to paycheck. The thing about these internal throttle or internal controls, it's a push style instead of a pull. So when you turn the throttle, it actually pushes the cable out. And there's no return spring on the carb or whatever, so you can leave it and it will just stay. Some people call it dead man's throttle because it just kind of stays there. But I think somewhere down the line, they deemed it unsafe. My parents are great because they never really pushed anything on me. They just always wanted me to do something and make a living for myself and carry myself. That's it. They were never judgmental to me not following in my dad's footsteps. They were always supportive, which was really actually surprising because you think about someone that instills structure and something's gonna be a certain way, they probably want you to do something too. When I started taking this seriously and building bikes and they saw that I was good at it, and people recognized it and stuff, they were really proud.
Jonah, how'd you feel? Just riding real fast?
Cool, man. Cool.
Building the motorcycles, working in the shop, spent a lot of time by myself. I love the solitude, I love answering to myself. But in the motorcycle world, it's definitely filled with a lot of people. Riding the motorcycles becomes a big social thing. We're all riding the same bikes, going in the same destination and, you know, looking up at the same stars. And we all appreciate the same freedom. And that's what I like. I like we're all equal at the end, you know, no matter what our status is. So I like both extremes.
The world bends beneath your feet. No voice calls from the shore, only the open mouth of the horizon. Silent, waiting, vast. You step onto the deck of your own making, hands raw from tying dreams into sails. The wind laughs, the tide whispers, but neither tells you where to go. Some days the waves rise up, tearing at your ribs, dragging doubt through your bones. Other days the sea is glass, and you lean over its stillness, asking if the journey has even begun. No markers, no lighthouses, no signs, just water, just sky, just you. They will call you a fool, a jester lost in his own illusion, but only you hear the map unfold in the wind. Only you know the shape of the shore you are sailing toward. And so you go, not lost, not found, but moving, always moving, an artist, a captain, a world yet to be made.
Uncle Billy,
Hey,
how are you?
doing good, doing good.
Haven't talked to you in a long time.
I know it, it's too long.
How you been?
Hanging in there, you know.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What, are you doing some construction?
Well, I've been doing a little help in the house here, yes.
My Uncle Bill, he was a really talented mechanic. He could make anything run, he could fix anything, and he kind of opened my eyes to really hands-on being a mechanic. I'm at this car show right now. Every time I come to these things, or you know, everything mechanical, I always think back to my inspiration, which was you. I never really say it, but I just want to know that I'm thankful for it. During high school years, he asked me to come help him in the summertime. He had me doing simple stuff, pulling water pumps and changing gaskets, and you always be like, "Oh, you're the best helper, you're the best helper." And you know, 13 years old. Hi, how are you?
My word, you are looking great.
So are you.
It looks good. It does look good.
He always had a job in auto mechanics. And it wasn't until I was in high school that he finally made the step and opened up his own shop, Motta's Auto. You playing around with any mechanics anymore?
Well, not really, no.
No?
I've been retired 4 years ago. I'm coming up on 70, I retired at 65.
Yeah. He did the Motta's Auto thing for a while, but he wore himself thin. The average small-time builder, they're gonna work until they can't work. You know, it's only so long you can do it.
Appreciate you, we love you.
Yes.
Love you too. I'll keep in touch.
All right.
All right. All right, good to see you.
Thank you for calling.
Oh, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. The old 90s Corvette.
Chevy Bel Air.
probably a 39, 38.
That thing's badass.
No, they started that grill in 35, 36, so they go nuts with this. They'll put dual carburetors on it, headers. This guy's got MSD, everything. Yeah, some suspension work. Look at that little radiator. There's no way that thing cools it. So it's got three two barrels, 400 horse.
Wow.
It's crazy they were making that power back then.
Grim is in the back. I look like Dennis.
28.
That's a twin.
That's the same year as mine. I don't know what's got in it though. It's definitely not the fourth banger.
To Oldsmobile, and it was almost the exact same looking thing.
You did?
Yeah.
When? Oh, Massachusetts?
Yeah, it was a Rocket 88.
Yeah. They made a lot of songs about that Rocket 88.
I know, I wrote one too.
Yeah. You did?
Yeah. I sold a Jeep to some guy, and it's in the junkyard in High Park now.
Yeah. High Park. There's my workspace. These certain kickstands are police-style kickstands. They have this certain bend to them. I think to clear the siren was right here. And this one, the pad's almost gone, so I'm gonna try to repair it with some scrap metal and cut a little chunk out and weld it back on. I am content with being just a kind of a small ordeal. One-man show with more money, with more bikes and more customers, having employees. It's a lot more responsibility. It's one of those things that it's twice as hard to do the work when you have someone there. If you have a certain expectation on things, or you have a certain structure or whatever, and then you give that out to other people, you can't help to have to double check everything, and what's the use of having people if you're gonna be doing the work all over again? And with me, I always like to keep everything kind of tidy and clean and something that I can maintain myself. It's just one of my little things, and it's kind of my demise, I guess, if I really wanted to make this something and make some money actually, instead of just kind of floating. But it's, now at this time in my life, it's just, I accepted it. It is what it is. Yeah, now just play with it a little bit, just buff it again, fill in this little flat spot in the kickstand itself, and then round that back out, and then polish it so it doesn't look like it just welded it. And I think that'll be it. Back ready for use again. This shop right here, I did 14 years here. A long time to be anywhere at a work spot, I think. I can definitely say I've covered a lot of ground in this. You're doing it for so long, going through the hurdles. It can definitely kill the love. This is a saying that's been said so many times about turning your hobby into a job, and that's what I'm guilty of. A lot of times you're just like, what am I doing this for? The only thing that really kept me doing this was I need to make money to live. I think that's why I keep going to these crossroads. You know, I question if I want to do this for the rest of my life. You know, I keep feeling like maybe there's something else that I should be doing. Maybe I should be applying myself more instead of, running around doing donuts and drinking, whiskey. I like to have achievements in my life. Did the military thing. Saw a bunch of places, did a bunch of things. And then the next step, getting out, I always wanted to get college done. My father did both, and I always respected him for that. And I always wanted to do that. It's just an achievement I've been wanting to do for a long time. I must have done a semester 3 or 4 times already. Signed up for school, did the semester, try to keep at it. But I had customers, that needed work done, and I'm a guy who wants to finish it. And eventually I just kind of not go back. I'm mid-40s, I'm ready to try this again and put 100% in it. I guess it's never too late to go to school, is that the saying?
A little cigar, a little Guinness. Start the day before scotch.
Come on, man. How you doing? You made it. All right. See ya. Dude, haven't seen you for a bit.
How you doing?
I had a bottle of my own. That's what I gave you.
Oh, okay.
Dirt cock.
Where do you want him? Yeah, put him right there.
I also got a Frankenstein.
Yeah.
He's gone through this a couple times since I've known him. Most recently one was he decided that he was not going to work on anyone's bikes anymore. Like he made that a point.
What happens when it goes above my pay grade? I start doing math, I'm fucked.
We have a group of, 25 guys that we ride with, and when a problem comes up on someone's bike, he takes on the problem as his own.
I think when we turned that bolt,
If he walked away from everything, if he just packed up and did something else, it'd be kind of a shame. I mean, I don't think he's ever gonna quit it. No way. No way.
In this process, still don't really know what I want to do. Not knowing, that's not going to scare me because I know I'll find it. I'm accustomed to picking up and going and can adapt and overcome. I don't mind taking a step or two backwards as long as I can have some kind of structure. no regrets walking away from this because I spent half my life doing it. I feel I have done enough to walk away from it and be happy. Because at the end of the day, I got to be what I always wanted to be, an artist.
Hoy que te vi la luna brillar y tu piel como el mar, recordando de abril. Hoy que te vi mi piel de coral, se me quiebra el cantar y me pintas de gris. Hay una lancha varada en la arena, los aguaceros que no veo llegar, como duele vivir.